Hello. Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about creating migrations that match the tables and different objects that you've already created manually in the development database. And this is where you really got to pay attention, make sure you're in the correct database. So here I am in the development database, and I'm going to write migrations for these four tables, but also these three, these two, and then this one down here, schemas. Now, the way you do it, the way you get started is you right-click on the object you want to write a migration for, and you say Script As, Create to, New Window. With the schemas, that's no problem at all, and you can even combine all three of them into one migration. But with the tables, there is a bit of a problem, so I want to show you what that problem is. Let's do one of these, like, for example, the customer addresses. If I right-click on that and I script Create to New Query Window. This creates a basic migration, but it definitely has some problems with it. So you got to go through here and fix a few things up. For one is you want to change this to the staging database. The other is that, like, the reason this has a red underline here is because there's no drop table if exists statement before it. Also, this ID field here is missing its identity seed. We'll have to write that in. And then the way that they do these constraints, in my opinion, is too verbose. You don't need all this with padding and on no complete, and all those are all set those way by default. You don't really need this whole statement across here or either of these two on primary things. Then the other thing about it is that some of these things aren't indexed properly. It does have these alter table add constraint statements for default values, and that's all good and fine. But where are the indexes? Like, I want to index customer ID, address type ID, because those are foreign keys. I also want to index created on and updated on, and those indexes aren't in here. So last night I took a little time to go ahead and create the migrations for all of these objects, and I'll show them to you now, and we'll just run those. And they'll have yesterday's date on them, you'll see. So if I click on this open button right here, I'm already on this migrations folder that I created, and here are the migrations I created. They all have yesterday's date followed by 01, 02, 03, because the order is important. I think I mentioned to you in the other video that you don't want to create tables that are in a foreign key relationship with a primary key table until the primary key table is already created. That has to be created first. Okay, so let's just run these one at a time. Here's 01. Open that up, and you can see what I did was I have the STA, and I just combined the create schema commands all in one. So if I execute this, I get a nice message that says completed successfully. If I go to the Solution Explorer, now I should have actually shown you that these are empty already. Let me close the existing ones in the dev database and open up the STA. So I go to Security and Schemas. See, there they are. I forgot to show you, but those weren't there just a moment ago. So I created those by running that statement. So let me show you the same thing here. Let me open up tables. I'll even refresh the folder, show you that there are no tables. If I close that and then open the next one, 02. So here it is. You're going to create the table address types, and the address, this has the identity seed in it now. It has the constraint for a primary key clustered, much prettier than that big verbose thing they had. And I'm indexing this one in a unique way by creating a non-clustered constraint right there. So if I run that, completed successfully, come back over here, refresh. Now there that is. And if I go to look at the design, I can see that not only is the ID the primary key, but it's also been set up as the identity specification. Okay? And in addition to that, it is it has these two indexes rather. Now it's not part of a relationship yet. If I click on this, there's no relationships, but it will be part of a relationship after I run the fourth and fifth migration. Okay, so that was just the second migration. Let me go ahead and start to run through these a little quicker like I would do in a production environment. I would just execute it, make sure it completes, go to the next one. Next one is number 4. Execute it, completed. Open the next one, number 5. Execute it, completed. Okay, so now I run all 5 of those migrations, refresh the tables folder, And so let's look, for example, at customer addresses. It had the most foreign keys, right? Those two should be indexed. These two fields should be indexed, and so on and so forth. Let me see if that's correct. Yeah, there's the created on, there's the address type ID, the customer ID, and the updated on. They're all indexed properly, and of course your primary key. And it's being involved in these two relationships. So that worked out very well. It just took me a little while for me to edit those migrations so that they looked appropriate and didn't miss indexes and things like that. But that's what you do. That's how you develop. And so now that those went well, I will apply them to the production database in just one full go. Thank you for your time in this video.